Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here. If you are live, it is the 11th, no, the 7th. Where am I? It's the 7th of November at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're listening to an archive or a replay, I want to welcome you to the show. I want to let you know that I am over in the chat room, and you can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. Click on the chat button, and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. And you'll see others chatting there. You'll see my banner at the top of the page. Also, if you would rather watch than listen, all you have to do is head over to Facebook or YouTube and look for Katie Weaver Domestic Mystic. I am live streaming as well. So that's how to do it. That's a mouthful. Uh, but welcome. I hope that you guys are all well. I hope that you had a good weekend, that life's treating you beautifully. Hey, Laurie and Jane and JR and Lillian and Tiffany and everybody else filing in. Good to see everybody. So, per always curious, how are you? Years ago, I went to a Unitarian church service with my sisters, and they had I think they called it shares and cares. And it was kind of like a brief moment for people to be able to come up and say, this bad thing's happening in my life. I could use some support. Or this exciting thing is happening in my life and I want you to celebrate with me. And it was kind of cool. I loved it. People came up and said things like, oh, my son just graduated from college, or, you know, our dog is ill, or whatever it was. But it was kind of cool. I liked it. I thought it was a neat way to, well, to share, right? And to be able to help support each other. So I'm inviting you all to post your shares and cares. What are we celebrating? What do you need some support with? And spoiler alert, I don't think this is a spoiler. That's just a thing you say. Uh, we are going to have a healing circle today, since the world's on fire and everyone hates each other even more than normal, and so we'll definitely be working on that. So, with all of those things being said, so put your cares up because we're going to do a healing circle anyway, but shares and cares, I'm here for them. Maybe that's a normal thing at people's churches. I just don't know. But I did like it. I thought it was pretty cool. I'll give you a share. Matea, my oldest daughter, is graduating with her bachelor's degree next month. So exciting. She has worked so freaking hard. This girl has been completely self sufficient, has worked full time for the last 4.5 years while putting herself through school. And she has amassed practically no or student debt. She's paid for most of it out of pocket, or she did get some really good grants and loans as well. But yeah, so wildly proud of this kid. She has worked so hard to get to where she is. So it'll be a little break for her for a semester because now she's got to apply to grad school and her program doesn't start until fall. So, so is the goal right now. And you know how life changes, but the goal is uh, occupational therapy school in the fall. So that's a big win, a big share. So, yay, Matea, congratulations. So exciting. So, next month we get to go to Boise to celebrate her graduation and have a big party and, yeah, celebrate her. I love it. Yeah. So, that's a share at my house. I'll give you a care. It's not really one, but we took down all the Halloween stuff. Oh, my yard looks so sad, so empty. We don't really Christmas decorate much, so well, much at all. I don't even put up a Christmas tree usually. So, yeah. So all my stuff is down and put away. It's just it's tis the season, right? We could get snow anytime that lasts. And so far we're actually holding steady with we're still getting some fall. Cooler fall, rainy fall, but we're still getting fall. But we definitely It's coming, and having to put away Halloween in the snow really sucks. And I know this because I've done it a lot of times. So, Scott and I decided, uh, last week, let's not do that to ourselves. Let's just get it done now before we have to fight the snow. So, alas, that's what we did. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Honestly, she has just worked so hard. Very cool. Super, super proud of her. Yeah. Okay. Just looking in the chat. Denise has a share. She said her lovely month spending time with several best friends. Denise, boom, we'll take it. And she has a care, taking time with mom as her needs. Oh, and her needs as she tries to manage her day to day life. Yes, Denise's mom is quite elderly and, yeah, wants to be as independent as she can, of course, and needs some support here and there. More and more, huh, Denise? Denise is also, I'll just say it, daughter of the year. Yes, you are. You are too. Tiffany said, I could use support in moving forward and getting back to work. Heard back from one potential job yesterday, but oh, the boss was thinking of waiting till after the new year to hire anyone, so still looking. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's a care we can definitely support, can't we? And Tiffany, they will be lucky to have you because I know what attention to detail you take and how meticulous you are and how smart you are. And anybody who hires you will be hitting the jackpot. I know that. Hey, Koali. Thank you very, very much. I love it. It's not even till, it's like 6 weeks away and I'm already bragging. So that's how that's how important it is. That's how excited I am. Yes. Laurie said, it's so interesting how some kids are so motivated and other kids just sort of fly by the seat of their pants through life. I was definitely in the second group, LOL. You know, there's a couple of thoughts that come to my mind with her. Well, she's my little Pisces who is so organized, always got her shit together. She's excellent with money. And I promise you, she did not get that in this house, but she's really good with money. And she's really, obviously, she's a Pisces. She's super creative. But she's really good at managing things. It really made me laugh. She works for a traveling nurses agency. One thing she did that has been brilliant is she got her CNA when she was in high school. She had her CNA by the time she was a junior, and what a great opportunity. And in Idaho, there's quite a bit of education money for high school students. I know, weird, because Idaho, we don't care about education, but there actually is a chunk of like rural grant money for education. So everything that she like all the classes, college classes she took in high school and trainings and things were fully paid for. So she took advantage of that to get her CNA. And as a college student, she's actually worked for a traveling nurses agency who placed her at a firm, a very big company that I won't name, that to help be a part of their COVID response team. And that within no time, she was a boss, a manager. And it makes me laugh because she's like 19, 20, and she's managing people that are two or three times her age. But hell, she was managing me. I'm not that surprised. But anyway, that company, she still works for them. They still have a very light COVID response or COVID tracking program because, they're global and they can't have employees out sick all the time and problems. And anyway, so it's been brilliant for her. But getting that CNA in high school, I'm telling you what, yeah. No, you had it right the first time, Sid or Lillian. Yeah. Anyway, um, yeah. So it's been brilliant for her. But and all the way through COVID, she did not have to work in a nursing home, which was huge because had she been working in a nursing home, It would have been really hard for her to be able to come home for visits, because of contagion. And also, I really didn't want my 20-year-old daughter to have to watch people die right and left. And when you work in a nursing home, that's already what you're doing. But with COVID, it was just so much worse. So I've been very grateful that she's had the opportunities that she has. She thought she wanted to be a nurse. When she got her CNA, she thought that would be her first step. She'd work at a nursing home. As soon as she got out of college or high school, she'd go straight into nursing. And a year of working as a CNA convinced her that she definitely did not want to go into nursing. But she also, in that nursing home she worked at, the CNAs also worked as assistants to the occupational therapist. And she loved it and went, you know what? This is the job I want. So it was brilliant. Now she's really talking about specializing in pediatric OT, which she'll be really good at and with kids. So anyway, we'll see what she does. And who knows? Maybe she'll surprise the pants off of me and do something completely different. You don't know. You just do not know. Yeah. Anyway, that's all. But if you have high school kids and they're thinking about doing their CNA, do it. Mars had really wished she had done hers too because jobs are just endless. Oh, Quelly said her share is she's heading to Vegas to visit her mother, who recently lost her husband for the week before Thanksgiving. Oh, well, so much love to your mom. I'm sorry to hear that. However, yay for Vegas. Fun. I have a soft spot for Vegas. My mom grew up she lived in Vegas when she was a teenager. And my grandpa, her stepdad, he has always lived in Vegas until the last few years. And he disappeared in Vegas and scared the hell out of all of us. It turned out he was in a VA hospital, but nobody knew that. And that's when my aunts and uncles moved him home because he needed a little more supervision than that. But, nearly 90. So, at any rate, but I do have a soft spot for Vegas. I hope you have a wonderful time. Why no Christmas decorations? Tiffany, it is strictly, I have totes of Christmas decorations. Mostly outdoors. Like, we don't do them because it's snowy and cold and it really sucks to put them up and take them down. But indoors, I don't do much Christmas decorating because of the pigs. I don't put up a Christmas tree because of the pigs. If the only way to put up a Christmas tree is to put a literal cage around it, and that just seems like a lot of work to do, especially with no kids at home anymore. And also, we do our family's Christmas Eve celebration here at my house, and we have a big family, and I don't have a very big house, so Christmas trees take up a lot of space. And anyway, sometimes I do have a little one that my girls bought me a year or two ago because it really bugs them that we don't put up a tree. And so they put a little one up on a table a few years ago. So I'll probably put that little guy out, but we're just limited on space and energy. And yeah, I think that's why. Who knows? Maybe I'll catch a bug this year and do more, but that's typically the jam. Unless, here's what'll probably happen because all three of the kids are coming home for Thanksgiving. If there's any Christmas decorating to be done, it'll probably be them doing it. However, maybe I'll inspire myself because I think I told you guys that I'm taking up a new hobby or a new craft skill. It Hobby and craft don't even seem like the right words for it, but I bought a glass kiln and a whole glass business actually that I'm slowly learning how to do. Glasses, it's a big effing deal. And so I want to start with Christmas ornaments, mostly to take to fairs, but it would seem wrong to not have a few to hang on, at least my little Christmas tree, right? I can't wait. I've slowly been getting my craft room in order so that I have room for all of that. We did actually do one small project in the kiln the other day just to make sure that the kiln was correct and working and what we needed. But yeah, so I'm almost there. I think if I can get like 30 minutes of Scott's help this afternoon, my room will be in order in a way that I can finally start playing with glass a little bit. So, yeah, very exciting stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The pigs destroy a Christmas tree, man. Mm. If it's fresh, Zig won't, he eats it. it. Even the years that I did a fresh tree and I had a cage up around it, he pushes his snout through the bars as much as he can and gets a hold and just eats all the tips, which is fine. I mean, I don't actually care except for, don't eat the ornaments and don't chew up the presents and things of that nature. But because he's also been known to do things like that. So, and as it gets colder and the pigs are in the house more, mm, they just get a little naughtier. Also, Fiona is blowing her coat, so she just looks really ratchet right now. But hopefully that's over soon. She does this in the fall and I can't figure it out. Zig blows his coat in the spring, right? That makes more sense. Wear your warm, shaggy coat all winter long, and then in the spring, blow that and cool down. But not Fee. She has to do everything her way. So she blows her coat in the fall and then blows it again in the spring. Because why not? Right? Why freaking not? Anyway, we've had some pretty grumbly pigs this last week. But here we go. There is a mini pig rescue in Utah that a cousin of mine likes to volunteer at. And she told me the other day that they have 40 minis and their average rate of adoption on mini pigs is 1 per 4 years. Yeah, 1 per 4 years. It's why I always am very clear and transparent about what it's like to have mini pigs because people are not prepared for the level of damage they can do to your house, to how much time and responsibility they need from you. They just think they're getting a bigger, fatter dog, and that's not the case. So I know it probably feels like I trash on the pigs all the time, but I do it for a reason because I don't ever want anyone to think that getting a mini pig is for the faint of heart. It works for us because we're home. When you work from home, you can manage them. It works for us because we live on an acre and we have a huge fenced backyard and we cut a big piggy door literally in the wall because the door you couldn't cut a big enough door for them. It works for us frankly because we have let them be pretty hard on our house and just repair behind them and stuff. But a lot of people can't handle that. It's too much. And I understand that entirely. Luckily, we also have a very good friend who takes care of them, and nieces and nephews too, that take care of them when we go out of town. And without that, I don't know what we'd do because they have to have daily attention. It's not like a cat that you could leave some food out and water and maybe leave overnight or for a couple of days without supervision, or a dog that maybe somebody could just come in and put out here or there, or could even go to someone else's house. They have to be fed twice a day. They have to be fed on time and they have to have some attention. And so it definitely ties us down more to have them. They are mini pigs. Yep. Mini pigs can be anywhere from 50 to 150 pounds. And I don't know how much my guys weigh. Pigs never really stop growing. And so they don't like grow a lot after they get to be like 1.5, but they still slowly eke up there. And you have to be careful. You cannot overfeed them or they end up with, because they keep growing, you have to be careful with that because they'll end up with things like fat blindness. Like, have you ever seen pictures of a pig who literally has so much fat on their face that they can't see? It's a real thing. You just have to be really careful. And the problem is they act like they're hungry all the time because they are. It really sucks for pigs, right? They are always hungry because their job is to grow. It's how we've bred them. And so you You can't just feed them all the time, but they will always come in the kitchen and tell you they're hungry. They're always asking for a snack. They always snarf their food down in about 45 seconds and want more, but you can't. Now, my pigs luckily have been able to graze the backyard. They eat the apples off the trees. They've had a few more opportunities than like maybe an apartment pig, but you have to be careful, and it's for their own good. People that just spoil their pigs and let them eat as much as they want to, unfortunately, they end up with terrible health problems and, things like fat blindness. Isn't that terrible? All because somebody couldn't tell them no because they felt bad. I mean, I get it, but their health. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know how much they weigh, Sid. I would say they both weigh around 100 pounds, I would assume. When they step on your toe, it definitely feels like that. Those hooves hurt, man. One of those hooves ground down on a bare toe, and ooh, you say some words. Some of those, four-letter words. Sid said I used to want a pig. There's a lot of fun things about them. They're so unique. They are funny. They are super, super smart. Their personalities are just very different. They're hilarious. The noises that they make are wild as hell. And they want they're funny. They want to be loved, but it's at their level. They're not a dog, that typically wants to be in your lap all the time and stuff. They're more of a cat that wants you to pet them and touch them when they want you to. And then when enough is enough, they'll let you know. My pigs love to cuddle with somebody on the couch, especially if you have a blanket. They want to be under your blankie. And it's fun, but they will also tear a hole in the couch in a split second that you didn't expect. They will shred their blanket. They will chew on the drywall. I don't have any carpet, but pig owners I know with carpet say that they have to watch them like a hawk for chewing on the carpet. There's lots of things they do that are not very civilized, okay? Jane said, I must have been a pig in another life. Feed me. Yep, same with rabbits, Tiffany, for sure. Yep. I know, Jane, right? I will say giving them snacks is it's fun. They dance for snacks. There there's a lot of fun, but definitely a lot of work as well. Yep. All righty. Well, let's take a look at Luminous and then we're going to have a healing circle. I'm going to put a link in both chat rooms. Luminous, of course, is the magazine that I publish on Tuesdays with some help from my friends who contribute. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. I can't believe it, but I've already moved to a winter theme. I know. Stupid. Why? But it just appealed. So here we are. Had to do that, Buck. It is hunting season. It has been hunting season here in Idaho. And so I'm always hoping that the deer, the elk will be safe and preserve themselves, the moose, the antelopes. Anyway, I called this magazine the Alchemy Edition. I don't know about you guys, but this time of year makes me want to cook. Makes me want to bake, makes me want to make soup, just makes me want to cook. And I already started thinking about we have a cookie day every year that we all get together and everybody brings two or three different things, cookies that they want to make or candy or whatever. And then we spend an entire day making all of them. You guys have seen me do this before. And then we lay them all out and box them all up. So you go home with all of these different kinds of things. And maybe you make trays out of them and take to your neighbors or work, or maybe you don't. But I was already thinking about cookie day. I saw these cool cookie cutters to do like Linzer tarts. that are, rather than being like a sandwich cookie, they're a cookie cutter that cuts the cookie out, but also makes a pretty significant indent in it to put your jam in so that you don't have to do 2 layers because that's a pain in the ass. They're like a butter cookie. I'm sure you probably had them. Anyway, so I was thinking that would be a fun cookie to make because I like the thumbprint cookies or the ones that have jam in them. They're so pretty. So this seemed like a really good option to do that without having to make too much of a big damn mess. So so anyway, I was thinking about cooking and what I wanted to do for cookie day. And then my daughters really cracked me up on Tuesday. They both, living in different states, doing their own things, uh, made pumpkin rolls, which just cracked me up. Pumpkin rolls are a staple in our house for the holidays. And Scott and Matea have had an ongoing competition for the last several years to see whose pumpkin rolls are better. In fact, last fall when we were at Matea's house, they both made their own batch of pumpkin rolls and made everybody judge them. So, that didn't put me in the middle at all. Sure. I refused to vote, is what I did. But anyway, it just made me laugh. And I was thinking about cooking in the scope of magic. The hearth The hearth is in ancient times, the hearth would have been considered the center of the home or the center of magic in the home. And we don't really have hearths anymore so much, or if you do, you probably don't cook at it. And so your kitchen has become more the heart of the home in general, or even your stove, maybe. And so I was thinking about that and that theory about alchemy and magic, and that cooking is probably the first form of magic or of alchemy. So I wrote an article about that in my musings about that, and I think that because think a lot of times we do see cooking as kind of a mundane. You have to cook, or maybe you don't, but you know somehow we all have to eat to sustain, and so I thought it might be kind of fun to talk about cooking in the sense of magic or alchemy because maybe it makes cooking a little bit more fun and a little bit less drudgery. If it is drudgery for you, I love to cook, but I know not everybody does. So, first of all, the transformation of ingredients. Obviously, you combine things to make something else, right? You combine flour, eggs, and water, and suddenly you have pasta. You take a potato and it becomes a french fry or a million other things just by adding. So, what? You take a potato, you add heat and oil, and now you have a french fry. It is alchemy. The blending of flavors. You add heat, you add acid, you add salt, you add fat, you add sweet, and somehow you come up with something totally different than what you started with individually. The healing and comforting properties of food. That's pretty magical, isn't it? Somebody gets sick, and what do? You either make or buy soup. Perhaps it's a family member or a neighbor that you deliver some food to. Maybe somebody has a loss. When my parents died, I don't know what it was, but everyone brought bread and jam. And I mean, I live in a Mormon community. That's Mormons nourish through food, Mormon women. And I think a lot of women do actually. But in my community, that's the people in your church, in your ward, man, they come out with food. And I can't even tell you how many loaves of homemade bread and packages of, bags of homemade rolls and jam out of someone's pantry. So much of it. I wasn't sure why. I didn't know that was the going thing to bring if someone died, but apparently it was. But we do tend to heal through food, and that's alchemical too. If my husband's sick and I make a pot of soup for him because he's ill, I'm putting my love into that. I'm putting my care into that. And, or if I'm sick and I cook for myself that same way, or he cooks for me or whatever. But that is a form of culinary enchantment, a form of culinary love. Storytelling, and I love this. Food is a storyteller. One of our biggest storytellers, really, because the scent, the taste, the occasion of food really tells a lot of stories. I could throw out any dish right now and it would evoke for some of you a memory, a good one, a bad one, right? If I say school lunch, you're immediately thinking about your elementary days and what the cafeteria smelled like, what school lunch tasted like, or if you didn't have school lunch, that you brought your own lunch, what kind of lunch you brought, what kind of if bringing your own lunch was a big deal, if that was exciting, if that was better than bringing a cold lunch, if that was embarrassing to not have a hot lunch, all of the things about school lunch emote something for you. Even some things, potentially food that you can even look back to your school lunch days that you did like or didn't like. But food, it brings up all kinds of stories. If I throw out there any kind of meal, it might remind you of someone who that was their favorite meal or that is their favorite meal. If I throw out a drink, you probably have some experience with it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If I mention any genre of cooking, it may take you back to a vacation or an experience or a person that you know. But food is a storyteller, without a doubt. I've said many, many times if you have a loved one that's passed that you're missing and thinking about, cook their food. They love that. I've had people that have passed so many times tell me, I love it when you have a steak on my birthday or you, drink my favorite drink and think of me eating, tasting. That's a sensory that spirits don't have. And so when we do it for them, they love that. It means something to them. Sharing and connection. Obviously, cooking creates bonds. Sharing food creates bonds. You think about people who, in their own kitchens make piles of sandwiches and walk down the street and hand sandwiches out to homeless people. You think about people who volunteer in soup kitchens to make sure that people have a meal. You think about restaurants who willingly give food to people who can't pay for it. Those are ways that we support our society. It's some of the ways that we take care of those amongst us who have less. It is a way that we create connection. Not only that, sharing our food, our recipes, our family's traditions is a way that we connect with one another. Personal growth. If you ever really wanted to learn how to cook something, and maybe when you started it was not so great, but you kept practicing and now you're amazing at it. Probably the first time you tried to make something that your mom always made, you went, how the hell did she do that? Because mine's nothing like that, right? And you practice and you learn and you try things and you get better. Mars cracks me up because she likes to make pie. She's made several apple pies this fall from scratch, and I don't make pie. I hate making pie crust. My pie crusts are terrible. I never think they turn out. I think a store bought pie crust is just fine, but not Mars. She makes her own and she does a great job. Well, she didn't learn that here because I hate making pie crusts and I won't do it. But but she has practiced and played with it and learned. So at any rate, just a just a conversation, kind of fun with thinking about things like food and cooking and alchemy and how really we're all sorceresses in our kitchens. Lillian said she cannot cook, but she can bake. Amen. Honestly, at my house, it's kind of an interesting dynamic because Scott is an excellent cook, and he does at least half the cooking around here, maybe more. And so it's kind of interesting with our kids over the years. Some things they like better if mom cooked it. Some things they like better if dad cooked it. Depends on the recipe or what it is. But we've had our specialties. That's for sure. Okay. Bitch scopes with Kelly. She said, "Bartender, make me a screw logic." That's this week. Screw logic. We're not doing logical. We're just going to shoot from the hip, go straight from our hearts. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. We don't care. We're doing our thing. I love it, Kelly. I'm here for it. But you could read all of your scope there. And then she has a much larger, expanded horoscopes, her bitch scopes over on her Patreon. And if you scroll down to the bottom of this, of course, there is a place to go check out her Patreon and subscribe. That's just a few dollars a month to have access to her weekly scopes and a lot of the other stuff that she's putting out too. And it helps support her and helps to give her something back for the immense amount of time she spends on scopes. So I love it. I am a patron of hers and I love all the work that she does. So I always highly recommend that you go check out her Patreon. And Patreon is just a website, and if you set up if you become a patron, then Patreon will just bill your card once a month for whatever your pledge is, whatever you're doing, and you have access to that person's page and all of the stuff that they're putting on it. Okay. So I did share in my tip of the week our family's pumpkin roll recipe. It's not ours. It's Libby's. Libby, the pumpkin brand, you know. But I shared their recipe so that in case you want to try a pumpkin roll, try your hand at it, you can. I promise you, the ones they sell in the grocery store are not nearly as good as the Libby's one. They're just not. They can't be. But if you want to try making a pumpkin roll, if you know what I'm talking about, this is what my girls have been doing. And of course, the competition that Matea and Scott are constantly in to see who can make the best pumpkin roll. Yeah. Okay. Christy's energy exercise this week is a Gaia grounding. You need it. We all need to get grounded. My God. Is your head in the clouds? Mine so totally is. Oh, over at True Crime Squad, well, there's plenty of crime to be found. Last night I had the opportunity. We did a story last week about this Angelo Mantic. He has been arrested for murdering his girlfriend 7 years ago and was just arrested in Colorado. And after we ran our story, her brother reached out to us and asked if we would be willing to have a phone conversation. And so I spoke with him for a while last night. And wow, what an amazing family! What a journey they've been on. When I first started doing true crime, it didn't really occur to me that potentially families of victims might hear your words or, see your podcast or your video. And over the years, that's happened to us many times now. And it's a really big honor to be able to shine a light on cases that need that, but also to be able to provide some level of kindness, support, visibility to families. And so, what an honor to be able to talk to Marina's brother last night and learn a little bit more about her life and her path and what's going to happen now. And all of the efforts that they went to make sure that her case got solved. Amazing. So I'll talk about that more over at True Crime Squad, but that's sure in my heart today. Okay, Anita and the Masters. Anita brings us Archangel Ariel. She is a protector of animals and the environment. I have always thought that Archangel Ariel was an incredibly powerful force working with animals and also with children. Kids that are scared at night, Archangel Michael's a good one to call in too, but somehow working with Ariel sometimes is gentler and a little bit less scary, I think, for some children. So if you have like scaredy cats at night, kids that are seeing things, having experiences, consider teaching them how to call in their angels, particularly Michael or Ariel. That makes a big difference. Sometimes in working with children that have passed too, a few times, rarely, but a few times I've had children who passed that hadn't really crossed over, and Archangel Ariel is always the one that I've called in that helps them to make their transition. All right, Jamie has a brand new video, Scorpio season. It is Scorpio season for sure. It's Mars's birthday on Thursday, so we're excited to be able to celebrate with her. But yeah, it is Scorpio season. So last week Scott and this week Mars. All right, well, that is luminous. So hopefully there's some gems in there that helped you out. I hope I helped them, Liliane. Yeah. You know, there's a very small amount of stories that really get any headlines. And some families are probably okay with that, depending on the circumstances. But at the same time, some aren't, you know? When Gabby Petito first went missing, and her case really spread the nation. And of course, she was found here well, in Wyoming, not very far from Idaho, not very far from where I live, and uh, in the Grand Teton National Forest. And her case had an enormous amount of attention. And this area, we were inundated with news teams from all over the country coming here to cover her case, especially when her body was found. And all of that drama when Brian Laundrie, her fiance that killed her, was missing, and all of those things. Like, it was a huge drama that the whole country paid attention to. But during that time, there were so many other cases that had no attention, and that's how it goes. Not everybody's case gets solved. Not everybody's case gets the attention that it deserves. Not everybody's case even does anybody act like they even care. And that's something in true crime that I have wanted to do and be, as a voice for the voiceless in that way, and people that don't, whose cases aren't making the headline news, you know, that also need some attention. Sometimes it's a missing person. Sometimes time is of the essence and they're not getting the attention and the support that they need. So, anyway, this is certainly one of those cases, and it's just an honor to be able to help support the family. But at any rate, if we're going to do a healing circle, we have to do a healing circle. So, I mean, obviously, my thoughts are centered around mostly the fact that we are yet again at looking at our world and war and division, and continued to be so much division and anger here in the U.S. And then add to it, of course, Ukraine, that's been going on for a hot minute now, and now everything that's going on in Israel and Palestine. And I'm puzzled, and I'm saddened by the way well-meaning people are destroying each other over differing opinions in the Middle East. You hardly dare have an opinion. And maybe you don't have to. I will not feign to try to understand or claim to understand all of the intricacies of what's going on in the Israel conflict. I can't. I know I don't. Rico, oh my goodness. Sorry. Rico insisted on coming in here during the show, and I don't know what it was. Something made him bark. But I'm not going to claim I understand any of it. Or all of it. I certainly don't. I am not going to pick a side because I don't really feel like I'm qualified to. But what I will say is that I don't think that civilians deserve to be murdered on either side of this skirmish. I will say that I think that organized religion has been the biggest plague on our planet when it comes to war and discrimination and people being killed. And I said what I said about that. But this is a hard one because it seems like if people speak out in defense of one side, then people assume that they are flatly against the other. I Why can't both be true? I don't think that Jews should be exterminated. Of course I don't. But I also don't think that innocent people in on the Gaza Strip should be getting annihilated either. Why isn't it okay? I mean, it is okay. Actually, I'm going to change the narrative on that because it is okay. It's okay. Both things can be true. My God. But I'm amazed at how divisive this topic has been and how much we have seen people attacking each other and calling each other anti Semites or terrorists or, all kinds of terrible things because they see this a little bit differently or their compassion goes a little different way or I don't know. I don't know what to say. What I know is that I hate all of it. I wish that we were in a place of peace. I wish that we could find common ground in topics like this. And I know I'm playing with fire even discussing it, but I just don't really care, I guess, if I am or not. I think that what I'm saying is probably a lot what a lot of you are thinking. And so that's kind of where my thought process is. I don't know. I'm open to your opinions and your thoughts about that as well, if you dare have them. I know. Not trying to start a controversy, but I think it's okay for us to just want everybody to be okay. Yeah. So let's have a quick healing circle. Let's circle this world with peace. Let's circle this world with unconditional love for all. So go ahead and join me here. Just go ahead and close your eyes. We'll take a few deep breaths. We're going to do this the way we typically do because it makes it easier for you guys to get there. So I would like you to envision yourself walking along a forest path. The sun is shining. It's warm but not hot. There's a warm breeze blowing. As you're walking, you can smell the trees. You can hear birds singing. You can hear your feet crunching on pine needles. As you walk along this path, I will begin counting backwards from 10 to 1. And as I do so, you will be getting deeper and deeper into your spirit. By the time I reach 1, you will reach a clearing, a field of wildflowers where we will gather. We've been here before, lots of times, but this is a place where we can all come together for healing, for others, for ourselves, for our world. So join me now as we walk down our path, starting with 10, 9, 8, getting deeper and deeper with every step you take. 7, 6, 5. You're feeling comfortable and confident about your ability to reach this place. 4, continuing to walk forward down your path. 3, getting closer. You can see the opening now to the clearing. 2, 1, and you are there. Step out into the clearing now. You'll see some people stepping out from their own paths. You'll see some of us already gathered in the center. Join us now. This is a place of healing. It's a place of unconditional love. It's a place for all of us to join our collective voice, our collective energy for the greater good. It's a way to seek healing, to receive healing, and to give healing as well. So, as we're joining now in the center of the clearing, go ahead and take hands. This is a powerful circuit of energy joining together with a common goal. Please add your cares to the circle now. You're welcome to speak them out loud or think them. Good. And on a larger note, as we're working on everyone's cares, we also are adding the cares of the world, doing a healing for peace, for cooperation, for unity, for safety and protection for those who are in peril, for comfort for all of the hearts that are hurting. We're asking for a balm to soothe those who are angry. So at this point, we'll begin. You may consider sending energy from your heart. Perhaps you will pray or sing or chant or drum or visualize or practice an energy healing modality. The choice is yours. There's no wrong answer. But let's go ahead and lift up all of our cares now. Very good. Just another moment now. Okay. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. You can let go of hands and break the circle. Go ahead and say your goodbyes, and you can start heading back towards your path. Here in just a moment, I'll be counting forward from 1 to 5. And as I do so, you will start very, very deep into your spirit. But by the time I reach 5, you'll be wide awake and refreshed. You'll remember everything that happened today in the circle. You will remember how to come back here anytime you choose for comfort and healing for yourself or for another. So, stepping back out onto your path now. 1, still very deep in your spirit. 2, walking along the path. 3, getting lighter. 4, much lighter now. And 5, wide awake and refreshed, ready to return. Stretch. Move your body a little bit. That helps to come back into it. This afternoon, breathe some fresh air, touch some grass, hug a tree, do something grounding. Please, please take good care of yourselves. One thing we can do when the world is in a less than peaceful place is to at least promote peace in our own lives, because that helps. That helps throw your pebbles into the pond and helps to promote peace. We don't need more chaos. We don't need more anger. We don't need more division. We've got plenty of that. Let's bring the opposite. Well, you know how it is. We have done it. Thank you, Lillian. Me too. Good group. All righty. We've done what we do. I have to go. Don't forget, I am a professional psychic advisor over at 12listen.com. You can find me over there literally every day. That's number 2, listen.com. And I'll be over there doing my work. And I would love to help you out if I can. You guys, take good care of yourselves. I'll be back next week, same place, same time. This has been yet another production of The Katie Weaver Show here on 12 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.